we got to talk about Kendrick Lamar, guys. And look, Kendrick Lamar, I feel like we probably have talked about him a record amount of times on our show. I know everybody's covered Kendrick, Drake, the battle, everything that's gone back and forth between these two gentlemen the last year and a half at this point. But now that we are seemingly past the battle, now that artists have seemingly started to complain that fans are still dragging the issue, we've come to find out that Not Like Us finally left the Billboard 100 charts after 53 weeks.
All kingdoms have
Kendrick,
to fall at some point.
Absolutely. Obviously, Kendrick, he did the Super Bowl show. A bunch of stuff has happened. He's gotten a lot of mainstream looks since this whole beef has ended. And I think it's a fair question to ask, is Kendrick selling out now that we've seen him in all the new ads, whether it's Gatorade, Bottega, Harper's Bazaar, this, that, and the third? It's like, yo, at some point, guys, is it fair to say this guy's selling out? Moxie, what do you think?
Well, I personally think, I was talking to a couple friends about this, and these friends are actually, I've got a couple friends who are in LA, so the real West Coast. They can really rep the West Coast. They don't have to do a
West Side
blood sacrifice in order to be accepted into the West Coast. They are actually asking themselves, does this look like Kendrick Lamar is selling out? And they would say yes, that it looks like Kendrick Lamar is kind of selling out.
What?
They think, it's almost like inevitable to get this big and not sell out. And I almost think the same thing, like, you're doing all these commercials, I guess I haven't really seen him do before, like being like this more mainstream. And like Kendrick Lamar, I feel like for a long time, has always been, I think, a household name in the rap community. He's got some big hits, and this is obviously, not, I don't think, coming out of the blue. And I think when you're riding a wave of success that he is right now, with the momentum coming off of this Drake beef and then dropping an album that I personally cannot stop listening to. So let me preface that, like, I love you, Kendrick. I love Kendrick. This is GNX has been like my workout album for basically since it came out.
Right. I'm
pumping iron, like, I deserve it all. And then to do the Super Bowl, which was also so successful, now he's going on tour. It almost feels like a lost opportunity, I would say, to not sell out. And it makes me think, like, what is it always a bad thing to sell out? And like, is there like a balance to selling out just a little bit in order to, get what you think you deserve? And are we harder on, like, I don't know, black men and black artists when it comes to selling out than we are on, like, white artists for selling out? Like, do we not think, like, black artists are allowed to sell out? Like, they need to stay in the hood, they need to stay in the streets because that's, like, where we feel like they belong? I'm almost like,
oh my God,
maybe he is selling out, but, like, is that so bad? Is he not allowed to reach for the stars?
Whew. Wow, you look. You done ask some damn heavyweight questions. Let me see if I can get my my bow tie out. I think I might need to look like I'm from the Nation of Islam to answer this question. Whoa. No, to be real with you, like, I love first of all, I love those questions because you said something. You said, like, is it okay to sell out, right? Like, is sometimes selling out okay? It's interesting, like, because I do think black guys, not to turn this racial, but there isn't a racial element to this, right? Because you got to think about, right? When has a white person ever been labeled as a sellout? Like, I've literally never heard that. Like, in terms of a pop star, right? Yeah. Like, Justin Bieber can go off and do any commercial, work with any brand, work with any partner, and I've never heard the word sellout associated with a Justin Bieber,
There was a
Morgan
good
Wallen.
few years
You get
where
what I mean?
only saw Justin Bieber half naked because he was always doing a Calvin Klein shoot. Like I always saw that man's underwear for some reason, and I don't remember anyone ever being like, Justin Bieber has sold out. It was like, no, we expected Justin Bieber to be half naked on every billboard selling Calvin Klein. Like it was okay for him.
And you see, that's where I think the way I look at it is this. Like, I do think black artists, especially street oriented artists, are looked at through a different lens. Although we have to acknowledge that, let's be real, like before the battle, Kendrick was always a big artist, right? Global, internationally known. He's done tons of international shows, right? World renowned. People know Kendrick is like that. Like, there's no debate. However, we would be naive to not acknowledge that after the battle, him winning Grammy after Grammy, him winning award after award, him going on the Super Bowl, performing there, him, his music being licensed everywhere, NBA Countdown. You're hearing this guy everywhere. Now he's on a stadium tour with SZA. We would be disingenuous and just naive to not acknowledge that he hasn't elevated and gotten to another level. Like, it's obvious, right? But I think the problem with the optics with Kendrick is, historically, he's come across as a very organic artist that's not really about the hoopla, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think now that we see Kendrick associated with these big brands, it almost challenges what we've always known Kendrick to be, which is this super low-key, true to himself artist that's not with the hoopla, the pop shit. You know what I mean? Like, he's this kind of guy that's very reserved. We know he's a big artist, but he's never really been associated with that. So I think we're just seeing a different version of Kendrick. And I will say, I wouldn't call it selling out per se. I would just say, as long as he's having an alliance to brands that are organic, I don't have a problem with it personally. Like, I think the Gatorade partnership to me makes sense. Kendrick always talks about his workouts. Like, that's a good partnership. You know what I mean? It aligns brand wise. I don't have a problem with that. But the Harper's Bazaar, it's like him going on the cover of that. It's like, that don't really look organic to me. That look a little weird associated with Kendrick, and that's no hate, no shade. Like, I love Kendrick, but that looks a little odd, And so I don't know. I don't know if I'll call it selling out, but I could definitely see a lot of people saying, "Yo, Kendrick has gotten to a level that we've never seen, and it's making me uncomfortable."
Yeah. I think that's the
You
word.
know what I mean?
It's a little bit of uncomfortable. It's like a little bit foreign to see him in these kind of like environments. Like, yeah, you're right, bizarre. Like, I think we mentioned this a little bit in the green room. I've seen like The Weeknd on Bizarre, and I think he's mentioned it in a song lyric before. But The Weeknd on Bizarre doesn't quite feel so out of place. He looks like he belongs there. But Kendrick is like, that's not necessarily where I would have put him. And, it almost makes me wonder, like, I don't know, just how much does Bizarre pay to put you on the cover? Like, what are the checks being cashed that are enticing enough for Kendrick to kind of put his image aside, for the benefit of, and then it's also like, I don't know what he's doing with his money. Maybe he's like, oh, my image not looking exactly how my fans want it to be is worth getting this check, and I can put that money back right into my community. Like, sometimes selling out is not just for the benefit of the artist. If you have an artist who is conscious of their own culture, which I'd like to believe that Kendrick is, you can see the benefits of them selling out in their exact community, in their like fans. Like, they try to give back. And so, I don't know exactly what is happening behind the scenes there. That's just to say, like, sometimes selling out is for us. It's so that we can feel elevated too.
Look, I'm gonna be real with you, and maybe we can move on after this, but I challenge the word sellout a bit because I was telling you this earlier. Even the word sellout has a negative connotation, right? Whereas you could probably just easily use a word like this person elevated, right? Maybe they got to a different echelon, right? What's wrong with leveling up? What's wrong with evolving, right? Like why? Like we could easily choose to use that framing as well with Kendrick, right? And again, I think it's because Kendrick's never shown us that he gave a damn about anything other than the music historically. So now that he's at a different level because of his art, because of what he was able to do, because of the new fans that he was able to acquire after slaughtering Drake in this rap battle, it now puts Kendrick in a different visibility lane, right? In the pop world. There's a lot of people who obviously knew about Kendrick, but now they're hearing songs like Not Like Us. And they're like, oh shit, like this is a song that's cool. It's catchy. Who's this? Oh, this is the Kendrick guy? Oh wow, like this is cool. I can get jiggy with this. Right? Like there's a lot of people who probably never even gave a damn about a Kendrick song ever. Who now, after GNX, after Not Like Us, they're like, yo, you know what? Let me go back and look at all his other music. And they're starting to maybe appreciate his discography like it probably should be acknowledged by some of the people who've never heard it. So again, my whole thing is I can see the argument of people saying Kendrick is selling out because of the fact that the guy who we're discussing never has ever come across as brand friendly or somebody who gave a damn about the hoopla and all the, that the pop ish. But I think we would be I would be remiss rather to just not acknowledge, like some of what he's been able to achieve comes with this new visibility. It just does. Like it comes with it. Like you don't do the Super Bowl and then people complain about him having TV ads. Like, come on. Like he did the Super Bowl. I mean, like, come on. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Kendrick Lamar had an ad with like Home Depot, like just random. Like, you're like, yo, what the hell is Kendrick doing in a Home Depot commercial? This is weird. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just being real with you. Like that's how visible Kendrick has become. Can you imagine
that's
that Kendrick
right.
Lamar?
Lowe's. We're not like Lowe's. They're not like us. We love Home Depot. I find a way to fit it into some narrative. I'm like, they're so right.
No, hell yeah. But no, on that note, I think it's an interesting question, and I appreciate you for bringing that topic up. And this is a question for you guys. You think Kendrick Lamar is sold out? Do you have a problem with us using the word sellout with Kendrick? Like, what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments when we put this up on YouTube and also everywhere else.
Listen to the full episode, link below.